Good day, everyone. Welcome to week one, lesson one. Today, we're going to be talking about the introduction to supply chain technology. In this micro lecture, we will spend a few minutes going through some of the primary and important content that you will need to underpin your understanding of this learning unit. These are the learning outcomes that we will cover during this week. We will look at the pervasive and important role played by technology. We look at the growth of automation, as well as how data can be transmitted as well as captured in the supply chain. Now, we're all well aware of the long lasting and pervasive role that technology plays in the world today. And this extends often beyond just the supply chain application and permeates our everyday life. Supply chain technology, in a sense, has the ability to fundamentally change the way in which every aspect of a supply chain is managed and the way in which customers interact with organizations. And we've been seeing that, right, from last mile delivery, from ordering a product, right down through fulfillment. We can broadly distinguish two areas of technology application within the supply chain, and that would be hardware and software. And these are your two primary distinctions when it comes to technology in general. We're going to focus largely on the hardware applications of technology within the supply chain within this week. When it comes to supply chain and logistics, the internet has begun to underpin its very core functions. The Internet of Technology, for example, refers to the way in which physical objects are connected to each other. Your phone, your laptop, your TV, your fridge, your microwave, your coffee machine. I mean, look at the Apple ecosystem, as they call it. Machines are becoming more and more intelligent, which means customers have information at their fingertips. It also means supply chains have become more streamlined than ever before. You can interact with suppliers from every neck or reach of the world. You can interact with customers at all levels within your supply chain. There are four components of the Internet of Things or the Internet of Everything, and that is data. And data is a huge function within this industrial revolution we find ourselves in. It's about how we leverage that information to make meaningful contributions. How do we leverage that information to understand what it is that customers want from us? A case in point is look at Checkers 6060. They've leveraged their information resources to bring them closer to customers than ever before, which is obviously why they've catapulted in the market and gained the lion's share of the market in terms of online fulfillment. We have to look at people. We've got to look at things or physical devices and the process itself. When it comes to the various technologies, as you're reading through your work, you will come across two terms that we often use interchangeably, but they mean different things. We look at electronic data interchange and radio frequency identification, or RFID. Now, electronic data interchange, as the name would suggest, is a technology that focuses on the electronic interchange of data between two or more companies. Could be as simple as an email, could be as complex as an integrated ERP system. Predominant forms are things like purchase orders, invoices, delivery schedules, and EDI can be linked to EFT applications. Okay, it's sometimes automated and it can be a very powerful tool. Companies have started to embrace this type of technology. And that brings us to radio frequency identification. Now, if we take a trip down memory lane to history, you'd find that RFID technology is very old. It's a type of technology that was first pioneered during World War II when the British tried to identify foreign planes and enemy planes. When it's applied in supply chains, it automatically identifies and locates physical freight. It allows you to optimize your supply chain security and improve your visibility of inventory. The first application of RFID was applied by the MIT Smart Labs, where they tagged Gillette shaving blades at Procter & Gamble stores because these were high value items or high ticket items, and they examined the way in which these items moved for better inventory control. The beauty of RFID technology is that it is a non-line of sight technology. You don't necessarily have to be in front of it to be able to read what is on that tag. For a long time, the technology was prohibitive in the sense of its cost. Cost was a huge factor, which is why many people didn't use the technology. But as time went on, we find that it became a lot cheaper. Today, if you go to Woolworths, you will often find on their tags RFID or smart tags, or smart labels. The moment it's scanned out, it's desensitized. You don't need the little plastic security tag that needs to be physically removed. RFID's remote communications capability is really what sets it apart. As long as you're connected to the internet and that tag is transmitting, you can pick up, for example, if a truck is tagged with the shipping container, you can pick up exactly what is on that while it's in motion. If it goes through a gate that has a reader on it, the reader can automatically record the time of delivery, the quantity delivered, and whatever information is on that tag itself. It results from the drive for agility more than anything else. RFID is about being agile. It's about quick response. It's about making sure that we are able to fulfill customer demand as quickly as possible. And that is what agility is all about. It's the time sensitive nature. RFID also provides, importantly, real-time information and real-time visibility, which helps us to minimize inventory holding. And as we know, inventory is a significant investment that we've got to leverage. We cannot let our inventory costs run away with itself. There are a number of primary applications of RFID, but the following are the most common ones: asset tracking and management, freight security, stock management, and reduced errors in terms of product handling. These are just but a few of the benefits or applications of RFID. The following diagram, which you'll find in your textbook as well, shows you the primary applications of RFID. And these are some of the operational improvements that we can get from RFID. I mean, you can have shipping consolidation, security of your cargo, conveyance loading. You can track your items. You can verify information more easily. The beauty of RFID lies in its applications. And because it has such diverse applications, it has been applied in virtually every single industry you can think of. RFID has a number of different benefits, but again, it depends on each individual use case. So as you work through this week, please pay careful attention to that, each individual use case. So you can apply it everywhere, but obviously the application would be different. So think about that as you work through the week. Table 11.1 just shows you some of the benefits and limitations of data capture technologies as well, of which RFID is included. Some of the other data capture technologies they talk about is the obvious barcoding technology and the paper-based technology, okay? Paper-based or handwritten approach, which in this day and age often doesn't fly in most industries, but it's still sometimes used, okay? So as you work through the rest of the week, pay attention to the applications of RFID and technology. It's important that the type of technology you implement is fit for purpose. It should not be the case that you implement a technology that is not fit for purpose and you implement it simply because it is popular. It is imperative that whatever technology intervention is implemented has to have a clear objective and a drive. Otherwise, you will find it can often be a sunk cost. I hope you found this micro lecture interesting, and thank you very much. I will see you in the next one.